Hello, Star Wars CCG players, fans, and folks who would rather listen to me talk about a game than hang out with their family on a Saturday afternoon. Um, Welcome to a sort of impromptu GEMPC top 16 match. Just give me just a second to make sure. There we go. My name's Garrett Larson, Deadbody on Slack and the forums and everything else that matters. Getting ready for a that game shouldn't have gone up. Top 16. It's game 2 of the match Dan and I streamed yesterday, which was Brian Fred versus his teammate and Minnesota local Sam Tashima. Sam won that game by 16. If you didn't have a chance to watch yet, it's going to be on the excuse me. It's going to be on YouTube if it's not already there, because Dan's awesome at getting that stuff up there. But if you didn't get a chance to watch it, Sam played carbon chamber testing against Brian's speeders with the Dejarik Holo game board and a whole bunch of things that confused me and Dan. We had a little impromptu call-in from the folks who are probably playing the Ithor Regional right now in Spain. Large Porg, Kevin Yop, Angelo, a few other folks called in. It was quite the entertaining start, although it definitely threw off the first couple turns of commentary. You didn't get to hear me and Dan talk about how someone activated and drew. So we do have the game ready to fire here. Sam versus Brian Fred. Again, Sam won the first game by 16, so Brian's definitely got some making up to do. I'm not sure what what Sam is playing. Brian and I chatted a little bit, and it sounds like he is running Revenge of the Sith Maul. And it looks like Sam is running some variation of mains. We see the... Wait a minute. Sam's running Communing, starting the Funeral Pyre. All right. So last game we had a whole bunch of what is Brian playing with the Dejarik Holo game board and a bunch of escape pods, etc. Now we got Sam playing Communing, which was definitely not a deck I put him on. All right, so it's Master Kenobi, so it's Obi-Wan Communing, starting the Funeral Pyre, so you're going to get Like My Father Before Me, which is a deck that's, seen some play, and then I Can't Believe He's Gone. And maybe, on Walkling. All right, so let's see where he goes with this. I'm intrigued. Brian starts out, uses You Can't Hide Forever to grab Rendalee. And I'm assuming he's just going to activate, or is he going to burn that right away for something special and have another grabber? Sam says, I'm going to play Fly Casual to grab, I'm assuming the Tanev, but at this point, I don't know. It could easily be Tidarium. It's Tidarium, and maybe he's running something with General Han. I'm smiling and nodding at this point. As we see Brian play double back, assuming, 4-line with Concussion Rifle. This is going to be a fairly straightforward. Brian's just going to try and set up Big Destiny, set up Maul, do big things, and we see Sam play Goldenrod. That's going to stop Maul from deploying free to the landing site. It will cost Brian 2 force, which probably doesn't stop Brian from making that deploy, but certainly does limit his card draw on this first turn. And see Brian, they both drop Holograbber Shield. Brian pulls Secret Plans as well. Sam's probably got some retrieval in there. No reason not to pop it right away. Again, these guys are teammates. They play each other somewhat frequently in testing and stuff. I believe they locked these decks in and sent the list to Mike Kessling before they set this up, so everyone knew what they were playing. Brian uses the Jabba's Palace site to go get the Droid Workshop. Jabba's Haven's going to go get him Nal Hutta. I expect we'll just see 2 for Forlom at the Droid Workshop, and then he might just draw a couple. So there's Rendalee. Like, there's not a rush for Brian to put stuff out. You know, Brian's deck is fairly reactive. Honestly, so is Sam's. But Brian, you don't want to be the guy that blinks first and puts guys out first. Like, Brian's just going to set up his hand and get ready to rock. As we see Forlom. And Brian just draws a few. We do see he started Tentacle, so Brian's expecting, yep, I want a bunch of grabbers. And that's not a terrible thing in this meta. Like, Lightside plays a lot of grabbable interrupts now. And they tend to play them in low multiples. So, like, if you grab 2 or 3 of their interrupts, that might, you know, just be all the copies they have of those. And that's not a terrible thing to do, is just keep those out of play, keep them from cycling, etc. Sam activates and peaks. I'm really curious where Sam's going with this deck. Like, are we just going to see a whole bunch of guys floating around Endor and some sort of craziness? Like, I'm not sure. Nope, Sam goes with Mos Eisley from hand, so he was just floating Tatooine sites. Probably had an old Ben to go, or a Return of the Jedi to go look for Obi-Wan's hut and use that to go get Tatooine sites. Exactly what Bill just said in chat is, yeah, there were, you know, I'm sure there were multiple of those to go get Tatooine. That makes sense. You know, this is still running around Tatooine, still real strong. Getting the... Ooh. So Sam put out Mos Eisley and went for the Master Kenobi pull-a-related battleground and missed. So Brian gets a full verify. But also, how many battlegrounds is Sam running? Like, how bad of luck was that to activate? I mean, I guess he's probably just running like 2 more. I would bet the Cantina and maybe Jabba's Palace. Like, it's kind of bad luck for Sam to whiff on all of those. He uses the Escape Pod combo to go get the Hujix. That's, you know, trade a 5 for a 1 in your reserve deck and have that going. Yep, Cantina and System would make sense as well. And again, just bad luck on activating both of them. You know. So, and Sam's just going to draw some as well. Like I said, this is a game neither player necessarily wants to be the first to deploy. So, waiting a little bit, giving yourself that time to set up is not a terrible thing. And there's the Return of the Jedi that Sam was probably had played. Count the returns. He'll go get Obi-Wan's hut, I'm sure. And Brian grabs that right away. I don't hate that play at all. Like, that's definitely a card Sam was going to try and use to draw multiple Battle Destinies multiple times. So grabbing it so you can't cycle it, he can't keep getting it back, he can't keep using it for free, is a good call for Brian. So let's see where Brian goes with this turn. I expect we'll see another Jabba's Palace site pulled. And depending on his hand, it wouldn't shock me at all if it's just a pull a Jabba's Palace site, use a 4-alarm, draw a few, and try and set yourself up for next turn. So he drops the Lore Passages, not the Audience Chamber yet, which tells me he's probably waiting, or he had it in hand. Okay. Let's say he might have been waiting to set that up till he could pull his guys and set something up with it. But might have just been he had it in hand. And there's Lord Sidious. I like Sidious in here. The ability to just exclude a guy can be real big. I don't like Sidious without a saber or any sort of backup. Like, I'd like to see something else there, and maybe we're going to see a Maul to the desert landing site and move him over. Brian pitches You Can't Hide Forever to go get something special. Yep, so I did call that one right. He just wants another grabber and really just stop Sam from being able to cycle good interrupts, you know. And it does Make me wonder if Brian was looking for something else potentially, like a way to figure out if he could get a Saber on Sidious, if he was even running a Saber for Sidious. He just draws up a few. So Brian says, I think Sidious by himself is okay. I'll get the exclude. We'll make something happen. And he 4-loms a card at the end of his turn. That also tells me he's probably not running a Sidious' Saber, because you would have 4-lommed earlier to take the shot at getting it if it was in your reserve. So I still think it's a solid play by Brian. Like, Sam drew some, but Sidious is kind of hard to just get rid of. Like, most of the guys that have the ability to get rid of Sidious aren't necessarily going to have the chance, because Sidious does get to exclude anyone as a just. So, like, if Sam comes down with a dude with a Saber, because it's Obi-Muning, he's only going to get ability 5 characters, and Sidious can just push him away. So Sam activates, goes for another pull. I think that's just to see what's in his reserve. He certainly knows he didn't have one in there. I'm sure when he drew, he knew, unless it was that terrible luck of the one force he saved was his other sight, and he was hoping it was the one he used, which I guess we'll find out if he puts some stuff down here or not. There's the Obi-Wan's hut. I do expect it was more I want to know what's in there, like if Luke's Saber's in there so I can go fetch it. There's the Tatooine system from hand. Do we have the Cantina from hand, or was that the one card buried? Either way, both players are going to be able to activate whatever the heck they want next turn. Brian's at 17 right now, and apologize. Brian's going to be at 17. Sam's at 16. They both have big hands. Like, I got to see where Sam goes with this. I think Lord Sidious is going to present more of a problem than Sam really wants him to, just because Sam's got to come down with multiple guys to do anything to him, because Brian can exclude basically anyone, and he can do it before weapons phase. So Sam can't even do the drop a guy with a Saber and do something. So we do see Sam say, all right, fine, you do that. I'm going to put Master Luke over here, and we're just going to trade drains. I assume we'll see, there's an Obi-Wan's Journal, which is a nice, it's a card you can grab with Return of the Jedi, which makes it good. You can cancel a Weapon Destiny once per your unique lightsaber in battle. I expect we'll see a Luke Saber from the Like My Father Before Me, which is probably what he was going for. Do see the battle plan come out, so Brian is going to have to pay to drain for 2. I do sort of expect him to. Sam doing his communing peak. I'm a little mystified by this play if he doesn't actually have the Saber. Like, I'm not seeing a Saber come down yet. And Sam goes right to draw. The Obi's Journal play throws me a little bit if you don't have the Saber. Obi's Journal is armed with a unique lightsaber. And he doesn't have a unique lightsaber. Like, you got the Verify. All right, let's see how this goes. I mean, I expect Brian's got an answer, and Master Luke alone's just not that scary. Like, he doesn't have a way to kill anything. Most of Brian's guys are going to be ability 4 and get a Battle Destiny through Master Luke. So let's see where this goes. Brian's got 18 force and 12 cards in hand to work with. Is he going to drain for 2 here and just give up that tempo a little bit? Armed and Dangerous is possible. That'd be, frankly, outstanding. Like, if you're going to run stuff like that, more power to you, and I love that. I'd be a little surprised, especially because you were already running an effect that can get you Luke's Saber. And maybe the only other weapon you're probably running might be Leia's gun. Armed and Dangerous feels like it's not a great card, but who knows? I've been wrong before, so let's see where this goes. Brian chooses not to drain, goes straight into battle. Drops Aura with Blaster Rifle in front of Master Luke. I feel like there's more coming down than just that. So let's see what else we get. I mean, honestly, even just that isn't a terrible... Like, you got a shot at Luke, and you got a shot at just killing him with Battle Destiny, but at the same time, Sam's going to be power 10 plus a Destiny to your 4 plus Destiny. Like, if you don't have anybody else, you're losing force. That's what we expect. There's Lord Maul with lightsaber. So now Brian's got the power to start the battle and put Sam on his heels a little bit. Oh, that could be real bad for Sam. Prince Shizor comes down. Prince Shizor says if you don't have 6 ability, you do not draw Battle Destiny here. Master Luke does not have anything that says if not able to otherwise. He does have the Hujix. He's probably going to have to use it here. Like, even if he makes himself power 10, he's going to have to use it here. There's a Darth Maul with lightsaber, which is a 3. It's +2 because of Revenge of the Sith. Because Darth Maul is a Sith. 3 and a 3, that looks like a hit. Well, no, Sam can subtract 2, so he might be doing that right now just to keep his forfeit. I mean, you're still gicking it either way. Or Hujixing out of the battle either way, I think. But let's see. I expect Brian's still going to shoot with Aura as well. Yep. Sam adds 10 to the power. That way, if Aura misses and Brian draws a little bit low, you've got a chance to make that happen. Aura does miss, so, Master Luke is going to forfeit for 8. So, a low Destiny here from Brian. And Sam can probably just get away with just forfeiting Luke. And you see he activates one with I can't believe he's gone. No reason not to. You're not getting the... can't add to a Battle Destiny. So let's see what Brian's draw is here. As soon as he draws it, there we go. And I mean, that's a 4. It's +2 because it's a Sith, and then +1 from Lord Maul. So it'd be Master Luke and 2. If I'm Sam, I might peel the 2 instead of Hujixing. I mean, the Hujix will only save you 1 force net, and having it as well is preferable. Okay, Sam peeled an extra card there. I think he might have thought Luke only forfeited for 7 as well, but he peels 3, quite a mercenary, rebel leadership, and run Luke run, and then uses Old Ben to revive Luke back to that site. I don't hate that. He's going to go get the saber. I still think it was a little bit bad to lose the Obi's Journal that way. Like, I would have waited to deploy the Obi's Journal until I had the saber so I could at least theoretically threaten a little bit more. But I do feel like Sam's got some sort of an answer here to come after these guys. And Brian did, he played everything in his hand. Let's see, or played out everything in his force pile. Let's see what he has to do here. As Sam's going to have 17 force to work with and 12 cards in hand. Let's see where we go. While Sam activates and decides, Brian goes and grabs something with Lord Sidious. He grabs always 2 there are, so he can turn any Destiny into it too, as he's got 2 Dark Jedi on table. Couple things coming up fairly shortly for folks who are paying attention. The Players Committee donation program ends on March 31st. So you got about 2 weeks left to donate and get that gorgeous Darksaber box along with the little rubber bands to keep it together and hold your cards in as you're traveling with them and such. Be a great thing to bring with to Indianapolis for the Eclipse event in a couple weeks. And there's the Unita. He went and got Luke Saber with Like My Father Before Me, dropped Unita to get back Obi's journal, and he'll throw that on Luke as well. Now, Obi's journal plus Obi-Wan's hut says Luke's probably not getting hit at that site. Like, it's really going to take 2 insane destinies to do it. But it is what it is. But yeah, the Eclipse event in Indianapolis is another week or so after that. It's April 6, 7, 8, something like that, 5, 6, 7. And I'm bad at calendars and don't have one in front of me, so it's that first weekend in April. It's going to be awesome. There's 22 people pre-registered right now. We definitely have a lot more folks who have expressed interest. I know the Slack channel dedicated to it's got like 40 people in it, so I expect we'll have more than just the 22. It's going to be a blast. I know Large Porg is bringing his wife, Mike Stone's bringing his wife, I think Joe Olson's girlfriend is coming with. Like, lots of folks are turning it into kind of a family trip. We'll get to play Star Wars all weekend, hang out until Monday, watch the eclipse on Monday. I know that's what I'm planning to do, is hang out till we see the eclipse, and then probably roll out of town at that point. Yeah, we already talked about Obi-Muning. It's interesting. I like the deck choice from Sam. I'm just not sure it's going to get him there. So there's Scoundrel Lando. Okay. Like, that's a good way. Sam's probably going to clear Brian of stuff here, but at the same time, like, if Brian's got some tricks, this still could end real poorly for a while. So, Obi-Muning's been hiding on a desert planet covered in sand. Nobody's heard about it for a long time. So, it's just coming back now. And there's Han, Optimistic General, who I think is really just forfeit fodder right here. Cancel Kylo's text, grabs a card, and you don't have Chewie or Leia there, although you definitely could. I wouldn't be shocked to see Sam drop a Leia. Instead, he grabs Jin, puts Jedi Lev on top. Jin going down to Sidious's site might not be a bad idea. Just let's throw it all down right now. You've got a 4 on top, so a swing at Maul has a decent chance of getting there. All right, we see Princess Leia, who doesn't trigger Han's Destiny to Power. Destiny to Power only adds with Daughter of Skywalker. And the barrier on Princess Leia, I'm surprised Brian didn't use that on Lando. That tells me he might have had something else going. Yeah, this certainly, you could see a Don't Get Cocky here. That would be a new way to play this deck, something Obi-Muning didn't necessarily do in the past. And there's Chewie Protector, so I'll be honest, if Sam busts out like, here's Don't Get Cocky, Life Debt, and Chewie and Protector, or Rug Hug, and just goes to town, I might be pretty impressed. I don't even know how I'd handle that. That'd just be okay, that's kind of cool. Again, I'm a little surprised we didn't see the barrier on Lando. That definitely felt like it might have been the better play, but I think Brian sort of expected, he's going to, he's just going to get steamrolled here in terms of Yoshi's going to empty his hand, and let's see what happens. And so Sam's swinging at Shizor right away. He's got the 4, so he knew he was going to hit him. I'm wondering if that was a... I don't want to get my swing force fielded. I want my 2 Destiny to clear the site. And that's a solid plan. Like, if that's your concern, force field would stop the target on Maul, and wouldn't be a terrible thing. And I think Brian, in response, is probably going to not swing at Luke. I think you'll see swing at, like, yep, Lando. And he might have been telegraphing a sniper here. You know, use Sniper and Dark Strike to stop the Destiny. I think you subtract 2 here. If you're Sam, I think you go for the subtract 2 here instead of just the straight cancel. So if you straight cancel it, the next Destiny can still get there. Like, either way, you're going to have to face Aura Singh possibly shooting Lando. But you might as well get it out of the way, and I think that is what Sam's trying to think of, is which way does he want to go there? Does he use the Obi's Hut text to subtract 2? Does he use the journal to strike cancel it? I don't think he leaves it running. That'd be a bad plan. Or is it there? Okay. I'm like, or is it my game just froze? Nope. We got a count going down, so yep, Sam does subtract 2 from it with Obi's Hut. And there's a 3. I expect Sam will just straight cancel that with the journal. Oh, he does not cancel with the journal, so Sam says, all right, fine, you're going to hit Lando. He'll get to cancel the aura shot instead. And yep, there's the Sniper and Dark Strike, so that's why we didn't see the barrier on Lando, and that makes a lot of sense. Definitely opens up Brian to at least have the ability to leave someone there for the battle. We see Han adding a Destiny to power because he's with Chewie. I expect we'll see another 5 added to power as well. There's the aura shot at Han. And that is a 2, so it's going to miss. And there's not much... Yeah, there's nothing Brian could do about it. I think it was just giving Sam the option if he wanted to journal it. And so that's where, again, I think if I was Sam, I would have journaled the Lando hit and forced him to get there with aura, just to make sure. And had he done that in this case, because it would have been the 0 off the top, it would have been a hit. You know, he would have gotten the miss. Sam would have an extra 6 power and an extra battle Destiny here, which I think he would have really liked to have. But I think he's still in a pretty good position. As he activates 1 with I Can't Believe He's Gone, and I assume he'll commune to add 1 to the power as well, or add a 5 to his power. So he'll be up by 4 with a Destiny to power plus a Battle Destiny versus Brian's Battle Destiny. I expect Brian's best case scenario here is to get out with just losing Lord Maul. I mean, you're going to lose Shizor because he's hitting forfeit 0. If you can get out with just losing Maul and keep Aura alive, at least you have something to consider. Maybe not, as Sam's going to clash out Lord Maul. That's not good for Brian. That's really not good for Brian. Brian's suddenly, I mean, Sam's not going to be able to use Obi-Muning, so he's not going to be at 20 power, but he's still going to be at 15, plus a Destiny power, plus a Destiny due to attrition against 10 or 9. Shizor's, 9. Shizor's a 5. Brian Tentacles, the clash, I think that's more a function of you have the extra grabbers. There's absolutely no reason to even possibly let Sam play around with getting that back and do something with it. We see a 3 for the Destiny to power, so that puts him up 9 right now. And then the Battle Destiny of 8. Ouch. That is definitely not what Brian wanted to have happen here. And Brian's going to draw his Destiny, but I hope Brian's got the Gick. There's a 5, which is a good draw. I mean, you're going to cost him one of his guys. But I hope Brian's got a Gick, because otherwise he's peeling 7? Yeah, and Chewy Protector goes away for damage, and that's fine. And we see the Aura, and Brian did have the Gick, which is good. So, now Lord Maul's just sitting there. I mean, he's blocking the drain, which is great. And I guess if Brian's got another sniper, does Obi's Journal is just during battle, right? Oh, yeah, once per battle. So you can sniper around the journal. And although you do still face the hut, subtract 2 text, as that doesn't say once per battle. So let's see. Brian's got 7 cards in hand and 17 force. So let's see where he goes from here. And Sam kind of blew his shot. Like everything he could, really, he dropped everything he could on Brian, and what he did was clear the site a little bit and then nothing. So we see Brian play double back again. He's going to go get Boba Fett, Danswarren, or Dengar. I expect you're going to see a Dengar here. I mean, the new Boba Fett with blaster rifle would be fun as well, but a deck like this feels like it's getting Dengar. You want the double shot. You're really just killing guys. You're trying to shoot everybody up. Brian, I'm sure, was not expecting Obi-Muning and the ability for the subtract 2. Nope, he goes and gets Boba Fett and Slave 1. All right, another reasonable, very reasonable card that'll allow him to probably just go to Tatooine and start threatening to drain. Like, Han's on the ground, Tidarium's worthless without him, and there's nowhere to deploy Tidarium right now, so we might just see Brian say, well, I'm going to drain for 2, I'm going to throw Fett in space, and I'm going to pick some up because Lord Maul is perfectly safe there for the moment. So Sam loses a Master Luke off the top and an old Ben. Let's see what Brian does. Brian says, I'll throw Zuckets and Mist Hunter up at Tatooine. Instead of the Fett, also another perfectly reasonable play. Fett would have cost the same amount of force. Fett gives him a little more forfeit. Zuckuss is a little harder to get around, especially for Obi-Muning. That did kind of blow. A lot of their big characters are already accounted for. So that might be a solid spot, and I expect Brian will probably just draw some here. Like, there's no reason to do anything else. So probably try hunting for some sort of a Nabran canceller, as I do expect Sam's absolutely running a Nabran to try and make things interesting, or maybe a force field as a sorry about the mess. Would be sort of obnoxious for suddenly, pushing out a drain of 3 and taking Maul off the table. But looks like there's just some thought going in. Sam's sticking in move phase, figuring out what he wants to do. Sam does have a Jyn Erso in hand. There's a second fly casual. So you're going to go get the Tanev as well. And Brian, yep, so he went and got the Tanev, so maybe he is going to try and make a run at Brian. Let's see what else he had in hand. I mean, the Tanev by itself isn't going to do much. And, conversely, we may just see him trying to, fine, I'll put the Tanev in a pilot somewhere else and make you do something. Brian 4-lumps card back. And we see if he picks a couple more up, or if he just passes turn and says, I want to have a whole bunch of force next turn. Throws out there's no try, so That tells me Brian is probably not playing sense, but he may be thinking Sam might be running some. It'd be interesting. I usually would not expect Obi-Wan to be running much in the way of sense, especially because your high ability character is 5, and you've got a lot of 5. Like, decks nowadays have a lot of 5s and 6s. I mean, Yoda's theoretically there, but that's a tough count to just say, okay, well, I'll get Yoda and use his ability 7. So, Sam activates, Sam peaks, he's got 16 cards. We know he's got the Tanib. Does he have enough pilots to do something to Yoda? And Sam says, well, I'll throw down Yoda, give myself some more power at Jabba's palace. There's the Tanib. We're going to just shuttle guys up. And Brian barriers the Tanib. Interesting. I don't think the Tanib itself was going to be battling. And the Tanib wasn't going anywhere. I think I probably would have waited on that barrier to see if he put down enough pilots to do anything to me. Because the Tanib's not going anywhere this turn. It's only hyperspeed 4 or hyperspeed 3, so it can't make it to either Nal Hutta or Rendali. And I don't think Sam... I struggle to believe that Sam had enough pilots to make something happen there. But it's possible Sam was just going to throw a rebel on there and try and battle, get the +3 to power, and maybe just outpower Brian by a few and then lose the rebel and still shuttle guys up. This way, he definitely can't do that, but again, Brian could have done the same thing by parrying a pilot. And if there was no pilot, if it's really just we're going to shuttle up Han and Leia, then Brian could have saved himself that barrier for another day. So we'll see what we have going on here. Sam puts down 3PO. I mean, Sam's only got 4 cards in hand. He's running a little light on cards in hand, and I think he's got to send Leia and Han up, and that's exactly... We see Han shuttle up, become a pilot. I expect we'll see Leia shuttle up as well. So Tydirium really only functions if Han is alone with it, so I understand not putting the Tydirium down. That's one of the cards that's still in Sam's hand. Like, Sam just didn't have a lot of options to use. So we will see. I expect he's just going to draw a few here. There's draw 1. So now Maul can move or battle. I'd be very surprised if he battles, given that you're going to struggle to hit between the journal and Obi's Hut text. You're not hitting either of those characters. Like, your best case scenario is what, draw 7 that you subtract 2 from to make it a 5, and then cancel the next draw. Hopefully that's... I don't know if that's Gemp or me. Let's find out here. All right, well. It might have been Gemp. So we'll see what happens here. Sam just drew some cards. He's got 7 in hand now. Brian's got 9. Brian's got to answer here, I think, in space. Brian's got to do something up there and try and make something happen. Like, he can battle. He's going to kill something. But he really just needs some forfeit fodder up there, I think. Like, anybody he battles, he's going to take out Leia or Han. Sam's got no immunity. And the power is going to be fairly immaterial. We see the drain of 2 at Mos Eisley. Sam loses the Cantina from used pile. And I think I can handle myself off the top of the reserve deck. Brian goes to verify his deck, looking for a bounty with Nal Hutta, and gives up the verify to Sam. I'm assuming this is sort of a, yeah, we both know. Brian just wants to know what his destiny are to figure out how he wants to go about battling. Because, yeah, you're not battling with Maul. Like, you're just going to walk Maul in and say, fine, I guess I'm giving up that drain. Pop the resistance shield and say go. If you don't think you can battle in space, you might just run Zuckuss to Nal Hutta and say, fine, I'm down a guy, you're down a guy. Wouldn't necessarily hate even just dropping Boba Fett, battling to kill one of Sam's guys, and then losing one ship and flying the other over. We see a force push from Brian in deploy phase, so he's not going for a sniper. I don't know what he's trying to grab here. I'm not sure what in his deck is impactful enough to make this happen. Maybe a character for forfeit fodder on Zuckuss, so then you can drop Zuckuss, or you can drop a forfeit fodder pilot plus boss or Boba Fett in Slave 1 and keep Zuckuss and Fett alive and force Sam to have an answer and have another pilot and do something about it. We'll see. That's going to be the question here. Again, had Brian saved that barrier, I think we'd be in a much better position right now, and I'm sure he's thinking that as well. Well, let's see where Brian chooses to go with this. Looks like he's still deciding on his force push. Oh, he's figured out his force push now. He's going to grab a guy with the audience chamber. Go and get Erica, who is best when Luke's dead. So he's going to have to figure out something, but he may just, and there's Dr. Ian Ponda Baba as forfeit fodder / pilot on Zuckuss. Now, he put him as a passenger just to stop the potential barrier. Like, you put him as a passenger, then you can move him to the pilot slot. And apologize. So, and now we're going to see Jabba's Haven to go get Prince Shizor. I mean, Shizor would be interesting. As well, I don't know where you go with him, though. Like, I think you're going to have to move Maul away and go for the resistance play. It's really, what are you going to do in space? As we see, Dr. Ian Ponda got moved from passenger to pilot. There's Aplek as a passenger to get that extra battle destiny. That tells me Brian liked his destiny a lot and thinks he can kill 2 guys with it. It also means, in all likelihood, he's keeping Aplek there, so next battle, he's also drawing 2. It does, however, he is going to face 2 battle destiny because Leia adds 1 with Han. And Sam's going to add 1 with, use a force to activate a force with I can't believe he's gone. Let's see where this ends up. Brian, I don't think is going to be doing anything until Battle Destiny. I think Sam's deciding if he wants to pay 1 to add 3. Sam does not, so Brian draws a 5 for his first Battle Destiny. And a 5 for his second, so that is going to take out both pilots. That'll take out both Han and Leia, as that 10 in attrition kills them both. Now, Can Sam draw enough to kill both guys on Brian's side? As we see a 3 for his first Destiny with Padme. We know he's got a Jedi Lev in hand, so if he draws up poorly here, nope, he draws a 5, so he's going to have an 8, which will be enough to kill both pilots. Oh, there we go. Brian with always 2 there are to reset the Destiny to a 2. That's going to make it a total of 5. So Brian will be able to keep Applek up there, as 5 attrition is just Dr. E and Ponda Baba. And that's not the position Sam really wants to be in. I think Sam was definitely hoping to at least clear both guys so he could theoretically battle next turn and try and just take out Zuckuss. Instead, he loses Han. Let's see if he's going to just lose the Tantive here or if he's got some pilots. So Sam says he thinks he can do something as he loses Leia, leaves the Tantive floating empty there. I expect we'll see Brian now move Maul away. And Sam places Walkling out of play to retrieve his Leia. All right. I'm not sure what his plan is to get her. He can activate right to her, though, and then get her back with 3PO. So maybe he's planning on having on going after it right away. We see the Maul get moved away, and Brian probably just pick one up, save one, or use one for Applek, and then say go. Well, let's find out. Yep, Brian puts out resistance, so it's only going to be a drain of 2 there, and that's expected. Now, Brian right now has 27 cards down. Like, he's still got a lot going down, versus Sam's got 21. But Brian does need to win by a bunch. Like, Brian's got to win by 17. So Sam playing Found Someone You Have to retrieve the topmost character of Lost Pile into hand. So Sam says, I'm going to go right back at you with Han and Leia in space. And that's going to be rough for Brian. Like, Han and Leia right back at him might take him out of space if he's not careful, and force him to start paying for those drains. And yep, Brian draws one, and then he'll pay 1 to keep Applek alive. Now, he didn't save any, so if Sam throws out aim high here, it is going to stop the single card retrieval with Applek. I don't think Brian's super concerned about that, but it is a force, and in a game where you need to win by 17, that one force matters. So we'll see what happens here. I feel like Sam's got to come down with more than just Han and Leia, though, because Brian's trying to Destiny. If he, and you know he's got Boba and Slave One, like if Sam loses them and has to lose the Tantive, or leaves the Tantive there alone, it's just going to get jumped by Boba, which is not good for him. Sam activates 17. Brian 4 LOMs. I expect Sam will 3PO here to get back Leia, as she should be the top card there. So, and I expect we'll see Leia plus Han. And this is, again, where Brian, that barrier would have helped. So we see the drain for 3 at Jabba's Palace. Brian's going to lose 2. He loses Newt and Lord Maul from used pile. So Brian likes his cards in hand, and you know you can only lose from your force pile for so long. Again, Brian now has 23 cards down and 7 in hand, so he's got 30 life force total. Sam has 21 down and 7 in hand, so he's got 28 life force. It's still anybody's game here, but Brian's got to win by 17. So it's anybody's game, but Brian needs to win by more. There's Han, Optimistic General, who I believe is not a once per game. So he's going to get to reveal the top 2 and see what's up there and get rid of Yep, he grabs Hera. Okay. That's solid. So now he can drop Hera there along with Leia and have some forfeit fodder as well. Like, he doesn't have enough destiny to get anything out of Hera, but it does give him the extra forfeit fodder, as there's Hera as a pilot as well. And got to see Leia here as well. Yep, and there's Leia. So Sam's threatening 3 battle destinies. Now, he's only got 2 cards in reserve, and he could just say, you know what, let's turn this into a drain race. I won't battle. I'll make you move away and start racing, because Brian can only take that race for so long. You know, the drain race idea maybe isn't the best way to win the game, but it is a good way to grind the game. And maybe Sam just says, nope, we're going all in. He drops the Tidarium. I mean, that's just a solid, it might just be forfeit fodder. Like, hey, if you draw 10, you're going to take out Hera and the Tidarium, and I'm okay with that. He does give Brian back the ROTS-Maul as he starts the battle, though, and Applik retrieves one. Now, Sam's got 3 battle destinies he gets to draw. There's only 2 in reserve deck, so he's probably only gonna draw 2. Now, a close call from Brian would be real big here. As the first destiny is a 5. And Sam's going to add 1 to it to make it a 6 with I Can't Believe He's Gone. And it went right away, so I don't think Brian's got any way to stop it now. And there's a 3, so he's drawing a 9 for total battle destiny. That's going to cost Brian's space. I mean, that's going to cost him Applik and Zuckuss. Brian draws a 7. That's good for him. I mean, more than a 4 here. A 4 or higher would be real good. Oh, 7 and 7 is 14. That is going to cost Sam 3 guys, or 3 things. It'll cost him the Tidarium plus 2 pilots. That is not the way Sam wanted that to go. Unequivocally, that is not the way Sam wanted that to go. Brian has already used the Jabba's Haven retrieve into hand. He went and got Shizar, who he didn't play. I think after seeing those 2 7s, I think he really wishes he'd have waited on it and saved it, because now Zuckuss would be a major threat in space. There's no way Sam can keep 7 ability up there, and a single Zuckuss would do a whole lot of damage. Yeah, Sam's still he's got to lose Hera or Han, and then the Tidarium as well. And you know Brian's got a Boba Fett and Chip in hand. Yeah, no escape would be equally massive. Like, if Brian's got that, this could go real badly for Sam. And Brian loses the Zuckuss and Mist Hunter, and there goes the Tidarium. So Sam's got Han and the Tantive in space. I almost want to shuttle Zuckuss or shuttle Yoda up there just to have forfeit fodder. Like, he doesn't get you battle destiny, but at least you don't get murdered because of no escape here. No escape plus Zuckuss and Boba is not a good time for Sam. And I don't think Sam's got any way to really come back and blow up space anymore. You know, like that is He was not counting on that 14. That 14 from Brian was very big. We see Master Luke move into the audience chamber. I'm not sure. I think that was super necessary. Brian's probably not going to be paying to drain there. Likely he's going to be trying to deploy in space. And if Brian wants to pay to drain for 2 there, I think you're okay with that. Like, again, you're right now you're just trying to grind the game out. So this turn is going to be very important for Brian. If Brian just pays 3 to drain for 2 and walks away, this is not good. Like, Brian has to be aggressive here. He's activating 17. He's not going to get quite to those pair of 7s, but I'm sure they're not the only 7s in his deck. So let's see where he goes here, because honestly, like, he can just activate to a 7. If he's got a 7, he'll blow Sam out of space completely with just a single 7, and Sam has no barriers, no force saved, no way to really stop it. So let's see what Brian does here. So activated. I don't expect to see him drain. I think he's going to say, I think he's wants to drop cards. He needs to battle. He needs to make something occur. Actually, Sam's only got 4 force. I think you might see Erica and Lord Maul split up, especially if Brian's got an answer to Nabron. If he's got a new Taguta solo or a Gik combo, something to cancel it. Probably not a Gik combo because he just played the non-combo Gik earlier. But, like, if he's got some sort of answer for Nabron, I could definitely see him splitting with the audience, or with the lower passages text that allows him to, during move phase, your aliens may move between here and any Jabba's Palace site. So, all right, so we do see Brian drain for 2. That's not great for Brian. Like, that tells me he's not coming down with, probably not coming down with Zuckuss and Boba. We see Lando Scoundrel off the top and relatively unprotected, so Sam's definitely got some 7s floating as well. We saw the Bionic hand go earlier. Brian is still in control phase. I think he's deciding if there's something else he wants to do. All right, so Brian says, my destiny are really good, and I'm just going to make you prove you can stop this. Okay, not the play I was expecting, but solid way to avoid eating another drain and having to deal with space. Like, this puts Brian in a bit of a bad spot. Now, Brian knows where those 7s were. He just searched with Jabba's Palace, really just to shuffle his reserve deck and try and put those 7s potentially in a better spot. I expect we'll see a battle, swing with Maul at Luke. All right, Brian says we are all in. He's just going to go straight power. Drops first strike, so Sam's going to have to decide if he wants to play an interrupt or get 5 or get the +5 power, because he's only going to be able to get 1. He'll be able to activate 1 force with I Can't Believe He's Gone, but he can't add the 5 if he's going to need the Hujix out of this battle, and he might. Like, this is a lot of power Brian just dropped. First strike does not get Brian anything back. It does, however, cost Sam a card. And Brian shuffles Sam's reserve deck, as Sam knew he had a couple 5s right up there. So Sam's now drawing a little bit blind. If I'm Sam, I almost think you got to activate first with I Can't Believe He's Gone, just to, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'd even play a Sorry About the Mess. Yeah, Sam's just going to swing at Lord Maul. Brian Apparently can't stop it or chooses not to. See the Tatooine Celebration, which doesn't surprise me to be in the deck with Tatooine. It does mean there was nothing, I think Sam figured there was no way he was going to get it running. And that's why he used Walkling to retrieve Leia right away and try and get that blowout in space, because he wasn't going to get it going otherwise. So Lord Maul's hit, and you're okay with that if you're... Like, if you're Brian, you're like, okay, that is what it is. He was going to have somebody hit. You're going to lose 2 guys here. You're really just trying to take him out. So now we see the swing at Luke. There's that first 7. I mean, if you're Luke, if you're Sam here, I think you just straight cancel that. Yep, because if Brian draws the second 7, you can subtract from it. If Brian draws anything other than a 7, all right, so now you're going to subtract with the Obi's Hut. Now, I wonder how many 7s Brian has in the deck, because honestly, if he knows he's got 2 more, Asajj swinging at both of them. Oh, he doesn't have the force to swing with Asajj at both of them. So I expect we'll see Asajj just straight swing at Luke. So, depending on what else was in there for Destiny, I wouldn't have hated swinging at Yoda, just to count on Luke getting hit with attrition, but he swings, he hits Luke, so Luke is going to die, and is forfeit -2, which is whatever. Like, they were both... Luke forfeits for 1 more than Yoda. If you're Sam, you're probably losing Yoda to the attrition anyways. So Brian's at 29 plus a Destiny. Sam is at 11, 17, 24 in power and forfeit. So if he adds 5, they're effectively equal, and he draws at a +1 with Like My Father Before Me. And I think he might be doing that math right now. Yep. And Sam says, well, I'm going to lose everybody anyways. This way I don't have to... I'm unlikely to have to Hoojix. And that's fine. It saves him the force. Especially with Brian drawing a 4. I mean, that's not a great Battle Destiny. It's not terrible. But Sam should draw at least that high. So, or not. Sam draws a 4 as well. So they're straight tied after you factor in the 13 in forfeit between Luke and Yoda. Brian will, I expect, lose probably Savage. It's either Savage or Shizor. Okay, he's going with Shizor. And then he'll lose Maul second. Probably trying to bait Sam into losing Yoda first and losing a force, which he did. So Sam's going to lose Yoda. He's going to commune Yoda. Communing Yoda means he never goes to Lost, so Revenge of the Sith doesn't trigger. And Sam's going to lose Luke. That covers everything he lost. Sam's not happy about that battle, but it went about as good as it could have for him. Like, he got out of there without taking any battle damage when he was staring at 30-some-odd power with just Luke and Yoda. And that's about as good as he could have hoped for. Yeah, no, Sam's not in a good spot right now. And only 4 cards in hand is bad. So I expect we'll see Sam probably pay 3 to drain for 1 here, which always feels terrible, because he can activate his entire deck. Because I don't know where if he's got a couple characters, maybe... Well, so Sam says no, he's saving 5 in reserve deck. Unless he's activating into a spell. I don't think he knows what any of those were. Because he swung once and then he doesn't know what that card is. So Sam says he's got something to go with. Only 4 cards in hand, but he's leaving 5 Destiny. Sam's doing something. And Brian uses Forlom. And Sam now activates the rest. Alright, I'm a little confused. Like, Sam activated and stopped and then changed his mind after Brian Forlom for a card. And we see Sam, yep, pay 3 to drain for 1. Brian just loses the double back he Forlom for. Brian only has 3 cards in hand. Like, Brian's also not in a great spot. But one of those cards is Brian has 23 cards in life force and 3 in hand. Sam has 17 in life force and 4 in hand. And again, Brian needs to win by 17. So Brian's really only got 6 more force he can, well, really 9 more force he can lose. Because he can lose 6 from deck plus the 3 from hand. There's Jin Urso going to block the drain of 2. Okay. And there's Master Luke going to start draining. And yep, Sam just says, well, we got to turn this into a race. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Sam gets a lightsaber from Lost. Like, Master Luke's still kind of a tank. And it also stops Brian's retrieval with Erica, which is real good. Like, it does put Brian in a position of having to have an answer. Now, if one of those 3 cards in Brian's hand is like another Lord Maul, this could get a little scary for Sam. Because of First Strike, retrieving stuff, like, we could definitely see some things happen. And Sam's just going to pick a few up now. So Brian, I think, is going to have to decide what he wants to do. We know one of the cards in hand is probably still Boba Fett and Slave One. I mean, he went and got it a long time ago, and he's been forloming like mad, but I think he would not have pitched a 1 back to do anything. And Sam draws a few and finishes by putting back a card with Like My Father Before Me. So Sam has 5 in hand and 14 total life force for a 19 force total. Brian's still at 26 force total, 3 in hand. Like I said, one of those cards is Boba Fett. We haven't seen a comm scan. I think we've seen it drawn for Destiny once, so we know it's there. I don't think Brian's really planning on draining with Sidious right here, and I don't think he's planning on draining at the audience chamber. Like, paying 3 to drain for 1 still feels like bad tempo. But that could be where he goes with this, especially if he doesn't think Sam's got great Destiny. Like, I could absolutely see a Boba Fett in front of the Tantive battle for the First Strike retrieval, and oh, he did have the comm scan in hand, so there goes Jin. And at that point, you're definitely going to drain for 2. Like, Brian needs to cause damage. Yep, Brian used Jabba's Haven fairly early on to go get Prince Shizor, who was fine and worked well enough in the battle in the audience chamber just as forfeit fodder, but probably not as impactful as it would have been doing, like, going right now and getting Zuckuss and Mist Hunter. Brian gonna verify his reserve deck with searching for a bounty. Destiny should be pretty good in there still. If if my count's right, those should still be his solid destinies. So see the drain of 2. Use Luke's Bionic Hand off reserve and Return of a Jedi from Muse. So Sam had a 7 sitting up there. That would have been real obnoxious up in space. But Brian's kind of in the driver's seat right now. Like, I like the position Brian's got himself in. He's got to figure out what he's going to do with that. All right, and Brian's going to use Savage Opress and switch Hondo for Lord Maul with lightsaber. That's what I thought Sam needed to be a little bit worried about. Like, he's got the Subtract 2 text still from Obi's Hut, but he doesn't have the journal anymore to keep Luke from just getting chopped up. And See another drain of 1, so Brian says I need to just start clearing cards. That puts Brian in a position where he's probably only deploying 1 card. He's now only got 11 force to work with. And so we do see the Lord Maul with Saber in front of Master Luke. He's only got 1 card in hand. I think that's Boba and Slave 1. I don't think it's another character. I don't love the idea of battling here because if Maul gets hit, you're looking at potentially taking some overflow. But Brian might also be figuring that the just grinding Sam out of guys right now is the win condition. Like, you kill Luke, Sam's only got 5 cards in hand and 10 force total to work with. As we see these Brian swinging, he draws the 3, and Sam says okay, and a 5, so Sam's going to subtract 2 from it, but it's still going to hit Luke. Oh no, it won't hit Luke because the lightsaber adds 1 to defense value, so he is going to keep Luke from getting hit. That might end up being real big. You know, Brian did review his deck, so he had to figure he was going to kill him with the hit or the attrition. Here's the swing at Lord Maul. There's a 5 and 4, so Maul is hit and forfeit 0. I mean, if Sam's got like a sorry here, I think you have to play it. Looks like the clock went back to Brian, so I don't think they do. Sam does only also have 10 minutes on the timer, but at the same time, I don't see this timing out. And I don't see anything happening to play with the timer. And Sam activates 1 with I can't believe he's gone. And I assume he'll use that to add 5 to his total power. Yep, so Brian could actually take some overflow this battle, depending on what he draws for Battle Destiny. But Sam's also only immune to less than 4. So almost anything in Brian's deck now, I think, has to take out Master Luke. And even if Brian has to lose a card or 2, that might not be the worst thing. So, because also, if Master Luke dies, Erica gives him retrieval. And yep, there's the 4. So it's a 3 plus 1 with Yasan. Or plus 1 with Lord Maul, excuse me. So he's got the 4 for Battle Destiny. Oh! Sam draws a 2. He uses Jedi Lev. Now, is he going to... Yep, he's going to cancel and redraw because he wants the overflow. And Brian's going to grab that Jedi Lev. So now Sam knows where a Ray is. And you might see him just go get the Ray. So he draws a 5 instead. That is going to be Maul and 4, which is starting to get into the danger zone for Brian. But it also costs Sam another guy. Like, Sam knows where Ray is. He can go get her. But, like, Ray alone is not a great character. She can't add anything with the Master Kenobi text, which is bad. And let's see, Brian loses Yasan, Force Push, P59, and he's got 1 more left to lose. And double back from reserve. So actually, Brian's Destiny weren't great there. Like, he had 3 3s and a 5, so he knew the 4 was going to kill Luke, but he had to know he was probably going to take overflow there. That's an interesting battle. Time, I believe if it times out in the second game, the winner of the second game wins the match. I'd have to double check that. I'm sure there's someone more versed on that than me in chat because I am not going to go check that right now. Brian does draw 1. He's now got 18 force down and 4 in hand. Now, Sam's going to get Adrena 1 in if he wants to pay for it. He's probably going to activate and 3PO to get Ray. I don't know where you put Ray. Like, Ray alone is just not a good spot. Like, I don't know how to say that nicely. Like, Ray sitting alone somewhere is not going to do what he wants her to do. But we do see, yep, he activates C3POs into Ray, and I expect he'll activate the rest. pay 3 to drain for 1. And now, if he doesn't have another Master Luke, which he's lost 3, that's going to be a little tough for Sam to deal with Erica just steady retrieving 1. Like, that doesn't seem like a lot, but it gives Brian, it means that drain of 1 is basically does nothing, because Brian just keeps retrieving it right away. And Brian loses Rise of the Sith from used, and he'll just be able to get that back with Erica, unless Sam's got another Master Luke to put down here. Like, Sam's only got 6 Force. If he's putting anybody down, it's right now. So there he's putting Rey at the interior site, so just in case Brian has something crazy like Blizzard 4, she can't get jumped right there. That does leave Sam with only 2 Force to use. It does, however, put him in a position where he's not paying for battle plan if Rey survives. And Brian's got to decide if he wants to use that move text, which, yeah, well, you're Lando here. Like I said, I think it's more I'm wondering if Sam forgot about the move text that's going to allow Brian to move all his guys, or he's more concerned about something like Blizzard 4 that really would put Rey in a bad spot, potentially. Like, Brian's in kind of a good spot right now. Brian's definitely in the driver's seat a little bit. Brian activates 13. It's really a question of what he's going to do here. Now, if he knows, I don't think he could know, well, he could know what that destiny is. He's been using Forlom enough. Like, if he's got a 7, I think you see him go at space right here. Like, I actually think space is a harder spot. If you've got the 7, you just retrieve. He's never really had the force to just drop Boba somewhere and stop having to pay. He's always been reacting to Sam, which I think is okay. Like, he has the Boba in ship, which is good, and, you know, if he just drops him somewhere, it's not a bad thing. But it also feels a little wasteful just to be like, oh, I'll just drop a guy and not do anything. So let's see where he goes. He activates a few more, so now he's just got 1 card down there. So he knew what he was grabbing with Forlom. And leaves himself 1 Force up. Brian changed his mind on something. So we've got a revert going, yep, just on what he activated. And I wouldn't hate whatever. Yep, he decides to activate just 1 more. Looks at his reserve deck. He knows what's in there. Sam knows what's in there. Are they going to tell us what's in there or no? Apparently not. We see the pay 3 to drain for 2. And Sam losing 2 off the top. Now, those were both 4s, which actually would have meant Boba attacking Han would have survived that 4. Brian retrieves 1 with Erica. Like, right now, he's still in a really good position, and he might just be saying, there's no need to risk everything. Pays 3 to drain for 1. Like, you're losing 1 to the drain and then retrieving. Nope. Brian says, I'm just going all in. We'll battle with Maul. We'll ping 1 off with first strike. We'll kill Rey and force him again to just, Sam can pay 3 to drain for 1, but, like, Sam's, I think, got to be just about out of characters. Sam loses the Hoojix from hand, which makes sense. I don't think Brian's going to hit Rey. I think he's just going to draw Battle Destiny and expect it to be what he needs. Sam draws a card with Rey. Brian is up in cards right now. Like, if he's run everyone out, so yep, there's the 6 for Battle Destiny. He just says, I'm killing Ray. That's all I'm trying to do. And Sam draws a 5. Brian's totally okay with that. Brian right now is perfectly content to trade Maul for Ray. And just, you can only cause me 1 damage, and I'm going to retrieve that with Erica. Sam's only got 6 cards down. Is the lower passage free? Yeah, it is not free, so Brian's just going to say okay. Sam 3 POs a card. I don't know if Sam's got any guys left. Plays Were You Looking For Me to search for a protocol droid. That's certainly not there. Brian gets Verify, which is fine. The 6 goes down. I mean, Sam's got 7 force down and 2 in hand. Brian's got 18 down, which is enough. And I expect if we see a drain here, Brian's expecting to just retrieve 1 with Erica. So Sam activates all 7. Pays 3 to drain for 1, so he doesn't have any more guys. And Brian loses Stunning Leader from hand, which is really just a keep my differential up. He needs to win by 17 or more, and there's no reason to risk, even possibly risk that number. There's Leia Rebel Princess, who can cancel 2 drains if Brian doesn't have any other answers. So I don't know that Brian's going to... I mean, it's a drain -1. She's, again, putting her at the drain -1 site. Brian says, all right, I'm going to 4-alarm a card here. So if Brian has a 7 there, now he knows what he's got, and I'd expect we'll just see Boba and Slave 1 at Tanev and Murder Death Kill. We'll see, though. Brian's going to activate... Brian leaves 2. So he activates 16. I don't expect him to drain here. Well, he'll drain with Sidious, because that drain can't be canceled by Leia. And we see Return of the Jedi and the other Bionic Hand go from reserve. We'll see the retrieval with Erica. I don't think Brian necessarily wants to turn this into a race. Like, a race right now, he loses. I do think if he's got... Here is where you just drop Boba on the Tanev, get your first strike ping. If you've got a 7, that's going to be all she wrote. Let's see how this goes, though. So, yep, Brian does initiate a battle. He gets the first strike ping. He's going to pay 1 to retrieve 1, I'm sure. You don't love getting Maul back. You know, you just want a card back right now. That puts him up to 20 in reserve, or 20 in force. And it's going to drop Sam down to 4 as Sam loses his Anakin from hand, which would have been his last-ditch character. And I don't think there's anywhere he would have been able to put Anakin that would have been impactful. Like, you deploy him on the ground, you're not draining, and you're not paying the drain. There is the 7 for Brian. That means he's going to clear that system. And that's all he needs to do right now. Like, you clear the system. Oh, Sam drawing a 4 means he does not... Well, he's going to add 1 to it, so he does crack the immunity. But what are you going to do here? So Brian loses Fett and Slave 1. Sam has 7 attrition to cover, which Han only forfeits for 6. There goes Han. There goes the Tanev. Sam can drain, I guess, for 1, and Brian picks 1 up. Why are you picking any up, Brian? Stop that. And 4 alarms a card, but no, stop that. What are you? And don't. What? Why are you drawing cards, Brian? There's nothing good can come of that. I mean, I don't think Sam can do anything with only 5 force and no cards in hand, but Brian just stops and says, well, I'm going to keep 18 down, so he's got 16 in reserve, 2 in force. Sam, no cards in hand, 5 force. I expect we'll see a pay 3 to drain for 2. And that's all he can do. Sam's going to peek at the top 2 cards of his force pile. I think at this point Sam's just got to play it out and hope Brian has a massive brain fart and draws. I don't know what else you're going to do here, as Brian loses a masterful move from hand. And Sam picks a couple up, maybe? Yeah, but why? You don't need them all. Like, Sam has no answers right now. Don't draw anything. There's no reason to go after anyone. So it's fine. I understand Brian was trying to go get that Maul back, and we see Sam pick one up. He plays Hear Me Baby to play another defensive shield. I don't think it matters. He plays his own sense shield, so if Brian plays a sense here for some unimaginable reason, it will hurt. Yeah, the first strike retrieval is cute, but you don't need it. Brian throws away something special to retrieve a card. He didn't retrieve a starship. He never stacked anything on it, so he's not giving Sam back anything. Oh, yeah, he did. He gave him back the Jedi Lev, I guess, which is fine. I mean, he's still... The first strike retrieval is nice, but again, you don't need it. Like, pay 3, drain for 2. You put Sam in a position where he can drain once for 1. You're retrieving that with Erica, so there's no reason to do it. But could also be that Brian likes the idea of going out in a blaze of glory here and taking it down the way he wants to. Sam loses Jedi Lev and Hear Me Baby off reserve. Brian retrieves one with Erica, puts him up to 18, 20 cards in force. And there's Zuckuss and Mist Hunter, so Brian can stop paying for drains. I'm okay. Like, there is no reason to play that at all. Sam concedes the game as he figured out the math was not going to get him there. Brian comes back from losing the first game by 16 with a deck that I'm sure he's not going to play next round against Mike Kessling to win this game by 20 force, giving him the match by 3. And Brian Fred will move on to the top 8 of the GEMPC to face another teammate battle in Mike Kessling. I hope you all had a fun time listening. I definitely enjoyed streaming. This was a fun game to watch, fun game to commentate on. Definitely an interesting game to see played. Everybody have a great rest of your weekend.